Hi, I'm Bill MacPhee, CEO of MacPhee Media Inc., your partner in mental wellness. Welcome to today's video blog. Today, I want to talk about. I had a question from Andy, and Andy writes and he says, "When is it the right time to change meds? After 7 years, I started to get side effects and switched. When do you change meds?" Well, let me first of all start that by saying the goal is all about quality of life. Quality of life is very, very important in life and with people with mental illness and in general. Everybody wants to have the best quality of life they can possibly have. And basically, so Andy, you have to think about, you have to take into consideration what that quality of life means. Now, I tell people, people are still experiencing positive symptoms. And when I talk about positive symptoms, I mean symptoms like hearing voices, being delusional, paranoid, having hallucinations. These things are really attackers on our quality of life. You could very difficult to try to get a job or volunteer and everything if you're still hearing voices and delusional and paranoid and all that. So we have to remember that. So the goal is to get rid of those positive symptoms. Now, what happens, for example, in my life, my medicine works really well for my positive symptoms, even though it's an older medication. But however, I'm a firm believer in the adage of if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I've been on the same medication, been very stable, been doing very well, and I'm not gonna fix it if it's not broke. I'm happy with the quality of my life. Now, in saying that, now one of the reasons that you went off your medication and switched to another one is that because you were having side effects. So that's great. And we should always, when we are switching a drug or going from a certain medication regime to another, it is always very, very important for you to do it under doctor supervision. Very important because we don't know how the new med is going to work with us, whether it will work for us and things like that. Because basically, it's a trial and error process. Now, in saying that, what I want to tell you as well is that a lot of times people are over medicated or they may be taking a lot of medication, a variety of different medication, and it just totally isn't working. They're very it may have certain side effects, maybe in slow motion. Anyway, the medication isn't well, and they've been on different regimes. What some people do, and some physicians agree with this, and others may want to stay away with it, but it's called a drug holiday where if your symptoms, if you're very, very having trouble with your positive symptoms, your illness, your negative symptoms, your hallucinating, and drugs don't seem to work, and you're on a huge amount of drugs and everything like that, you may want to ask your doctor for a drug holiday. And what that is he'll wean you off medication and then almost start from scratch and say, okay, it's out of your system. You have symptoms. Let's try again. Let's try to get this dosage right and get the mixture right. Now, so that's known as a drug holiday, and you need to do that under close supervision with a physician. Now, I want to just make a comment as well or an analogy about quality of life and medication. If we're still hearing voices or if we're still paranoid but we're stable and everything like that, in my opinion, it's a good thing to try to tweak that. Try to tweak your meds. Try to work on stress or your negative symptoms, your mental health program, your structured program, and get those voices, get those things out of the way and try to do it. It's sort of like this. If you went to the doctor, your regular family doctor, and you had bronchitis or pneumonia, say you had pneumonia where your lungs are very heavy with pneumonia, and the doctor will give you antibiotics and he'll say, well, take these and come back in 2 weeks. Well, you take those, you come back in 2 weeks, and the doctor says, well, I got good news for you. Your pneumonia is 80% gone. It's 80% cured. Well, you don't walk out of the office and you don't walk, and the doctor doesn't let you go and just say that's great, that's fine. You're going to deal with 80% of your lungs being well. But then the point is that you would say, the doctor would usually say, well, okay, let's try this other antibiotic. Well, let's continue with this or whatever, because we want you to get back to 100%. We want your lungs, your pneumonia to be totally gone. So that's kind of the analogy that you use with meds and hearing voices and the positive symptoms, is that you shouldn't be satisfied. You shouldn't be satisfied with not being getting rid of those things that on the positive symptoms that really affect you and affect your quality of life and affect your ability to look for work, or affect you in that way. So that's what's an analogy between pneumonia. So you want to have the best kind of regime and the best possible outcome, and that is basically a trial and error process. Anyways, so thank you, Andy, for your question. And if you have a question for me, just email me at bmcphee@magpiemegs.com, or go to mentalwellnesstoday.com. And thank you for tuning in, because we really want to be your partner in mental wellness. Have a great day.